a nation, we can listen and we can debate. After all, we are too small to lose sight of other people's perspective.
This is News Talk ZB News.
Barry Soper, political editor, joins us. Hello, Barry.
Good afternoon. How are you, Andrew?
I'm good. The protesters back at Parliament today, but they had a mission.
Yeah, I've got to say it was a very moving gathering. They were essentially wanting to be recognised as victims of the vaccine. And there was quite a lot around that certainly weren't terribly well. And if you look at as I did, the statistics, MedSafe data to February the 28th showed that more than 58,000 adverse effects, and there were several deaths as well. A further 14 deaths are under investigation. Now, Anna Hodgkinson, she was there from Auckland with her 23-year-old daughter, who's been confined to a wheelchair after receiving one dose of the jab.
It's been over 6 months of being ignored. That's half a year, mate. Half a year of being ignored and treated like you're nothing.
And the local MP's coming out too, Casey. Only one.
It took everyone to do this, to get to this point. Yeah. To be recognised that something's gone wrong. My biggest hope, don't twist the truth right now, because this truth, you don't understand the hurt.
I am Anna Hodgkinson, Casey's mum. I decided to create a petition and Memorial Day for those that have died and were injured from the vaccine. 58,399 New Zealanders have reported vaccine injuries to CALM, the Centre for Adverse Reactions Monitoring. This includes my daughter. So we had a simple plan: do a memorial service at Civic Square and take the petition to Parliament. But there are always uninvited guests and things don't always go to plan.
Today we come together in unity to acknowledge all those who have been hurt, to acknowledge those who have lost their health, and for some who have lost their lives.
We gather here today to be seen and heard. We gather here today to say what is happening is just not okay. It is now our time to be silent no more.
We will continue to be your single source of truth.
There is one source of truth, and that's the announcements we make here.
We consider this to be safe for New Zealanders.
Is the vaccine safe?
It's safe.
I would never, ever suggest something that wasn't safe.
Effective and tested and safe.
26-year-old Rory Nairn died after experiencing symptoms of myocarditis for more than a week after his first dose of the vaccine.
I now know thousands of vaxxed injured. These people suffered for months when they could have been treated from the beginning if this hospital system had just listened, if the government had told the truth instead of safe and effective, that there is adverse side effects to this vaccine.
I was just working to give what I can to my children and for our family's future. All those that have been pushing the narrative needs to be held accountable. No one stepped outside of those doors of Parliament. And yet you work for us. You're meant to be for the people. Because they're all being silenced. They're all being shut down. The media and everyone else is doing their thing as well. But as we know now, the truth has already been revealed.
So we ended up at Civic Square because at the time, under the New Zealand apartheid system, my daughter, who was not fully vaxxed, was not allowed in most public venues or even inside a cafe. Although it was a private event limited to the vaccine injured and those family members who had lost loved ones, the police and their helicopters decided to gate crash the memorial. What is interesting is that these police were not there to investigate what had caused the damage. No, they were there for intelligence gathering purposes, according to an official information request we made asking them to explain their intrusive presence. Why don't they investigate what is causing the damage? It's all upside down. Many of the attendees were coerced into having the vaccine through the no jab, no job mandate.
We will not be making it compulsory.
Concerned about the no jab, no pay policy of Australia. Are you looking at that?
No, we're not.
Fantastic, thank you.
I believe in vaccination, but not mandatory.
Great, thank you.
Because as I say, my word's my bond.
It's not going to be compulsory, but my message to everyone is it's safe.
A coronial inquest has heard a Dunedin man who died after he received a COVID vaccine wasn't told about the risks of myocarditis when he was vaccinated.
Rory Nean died 12 days after getting his first dose at a pharmacy. Now the coroner will investigate how much he and his vaccinator knew about the potential side effect.
Rory Nean's photo looked over the courtroom where the coronial inquest into his death began, marking not only a life lost, but a life with his fiancée taken away just months before their wedding.
Yeah, Rory had good health. I mean, we're pretty ordinary. I mean, Rory liked a few drinks, he liked a few beers. Just a young guy, you know, rugby player and, you know, just a typical young fella, and but really fit, you know, and strong. Kind of decided he wanted to be a plumber and a drainlayer, so he's always keen to help. The last time we saw him was 2 days before he died. He fitted off the shower for us and the bathroom. And Rory was pretty, you know, excited about the new house they were buying. He loved his dogs, as well as his partner, obviously, and his mum and dad and brothers and sisters. But yeah, he had a couple of dogs, Frankie and Howie.
I was in a good place in my life. I was stress-free before the vaccine. Nothing was wrong. I had the job of my dreams. I was dancing, I was walking, I was running.
Man, I was a pretty healthy, fit guy. I was actually working as we do, to live for and to pay for my family. I've got a wife. I'm married with 4 beautiful daughters and 2 granddaughters.
I was a tour guide before, so I take them to like Fraser Island, the Great Barrier Reef and that sort of thing. I was a fit, active, healthy person. I used to walk an hour and a half every other day.
I was frontline for DHB, but I was actually doing what we were asked to do, was take the jab. We listened and we obeyed what we were coerced into.
Cabinet has decided today that vaccinations will be mandated.
If you are not vaccinated, there will be everyday things you will miss out on. If you want summer, get vaccinated. If you want to go to bars and restaurants, get vaccinated. If you want to get a haircut, get vaccinated. If you want to go to a concert or a festival, get vaccinated. If you want to go to a gym or a sports event, get vaccinated.
The employee will be able to retain their employment if they get vaccinated in that period, but their employment will be terminated if they do not.
You basically said this is going to be like, well, it's almost like, you probably don't see it like this, the 2 different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated...
That is what it is, so yep.
Chris and I were never going to take the vaccine. I tried to tell Rory, you know, about myocarditis, and he said, Dad, I just want life to be normal. Like, what sort of choice is it when you can lose your job and you can lose your house if you don't take it? It was becoming quite an issue in our family. It actually had got to the point where it split the family.
We knew something could happen to one of our children that had taken the vaccine, so when we got the call early in the morning, it was...
Something's happened to Rory. It was actually something's happened to Rory, and we knew. And we got there and Rory was on the floor, you know, and I remember saying, is my son alive?
Yeah.
I knew what it was. What happened, I knew straight away. So we did ring a lawyer who basically advised us to tell the coroner we're going to do an independent autopsy. And all our correspondence went through the lawyer.
They couldn't just sweep it under the rug, you know.
it was getting scrutinised.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made the difference. Yeah.
After my second shot, I ended up in hospital for a stroke. And then on Christmas Eve, I had a heart attack as well. Man, body movements just non-stop. And now I'm unable to do much at all. My specialist has told me, we'll put you on sickness benefit. I get $98 a week. My rent's over $500 a week. So we're selling everything we have just to get by. Pretty tough road, eh, mate? From a very good working class man to now nothing.
So 2 days after my jab, I started getting chest pains. 17 days after my jab, I was talking to my friend on the phone and then I passed out in my lounge. I don't really remember the ride to the hospital. There were 4 other people when I went in with heart stuff. Even the nurse made a comment. She said, "Wow, we've had a real influx of chest pain today, haven't we?" I can only walk about 10 minutes now without becoming breathless. It's so terrifying when your heart's doing weird stuff.
I took the vaccine for my job. And it was an hour later I started getting symptoms. I had a numb tongue and then pains throughout my body, and it gradually got worse. I started to have no control over my limbs. I've got shooting, stabbing pain. I've got pain that feels like someone's taking a knife and slicing my legs. Out of everything that's given me stress, it was the doctors, honestly, that weren't listening, that were unwilling to listen. Is a big one, and gaslighting me, saying that it was caused by stress or, oh, it's an anxiety attack, and they would try to make you feel like that's what it is, when I knew 100% no, it was not.
So then the 4th doctor said anxiety. I said, I'm not buying it. One of my other jobs is working in mental health as well. I don't know what anxiety looks like. I've never been an anxious person.
No one would give Casey a diagnosis. And as medical bills began to build up, a kind person set up a Give a Little page to help us cover costs.
I'm Casey Michelle Hodgkinson. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm 23 years old. I wasn't like this before the vaccine. I'm sorry. Very brave, Casey. But I'm sorry. No, I thought I was healthy, happy, stressless. I was, I had it great. I trusted the government. I trusted them. I'm pro-vaccine. I was pro-vaccine. I trusted the government. And then I was forced to take this because I was worried of losing my job. And I will fight through my pain to talk for others who cannot talk for themselves.
It's safe, and it's the best way that we can protect our loved ones, including children. We heard Dr. Bloomfield at the beginning of the week mentioned the side effects that people experience with vaccines, which we all have come to expect, a sign that the vaccine's doing what it should.
Health officials have been at odds over what advice vaccinators should have given a man who died after a COVID jab and when he should have been told it.
The pharmacy where Mr. Nairn was vaccinated received information from 8 different sources and argues important information was lost. Its lawyer asked why the flow of information wasn't streamlined to make sure providers were aware of updates.
We were aware of some of those sources and very mindful of not overwhelming people with information and trying not to duplicate that information.
Counsel assisting the coroner stepped in to argue the messaging wasn't clear and important information was buried.
We feel sorry for the vaccinator. I mean, she knew Rory. They were pretty much the same age and basically relayed to her. We didn't blame her. And we don't. And, she wept, And she said that it meant a lot to her for us to tell her that, and it's the truth. You know, we felt sorry for them on the stand in the inquest, getting hammered over something which wasn't their fault and getting blamed. The government's, you know, Jacinda Ardern stood up and said, this vaccine is safe and effective. You can trust us. We are your one source of truth. You know, and now they're running the other way and basically we're not taking responsibility.
Everybody passed the buck back, and then boom, it lands back down on the pharmacy, on the pharmacists.
While we were in hospital, media platform staff interviewed Graham LeGros, immunologist and program director at Vaccine Alliance New Zealand. They quoted him saying the Give a Little page was a scam, and without ever having seen Casey, that the symptoms and behaviours are not related to vaccines.
Oh, that's traumatising to be made to feel like you're nothing. Like, you are the fault. The acknowledgement's not there. It's been such a long fight of just not having that. And I trusted them.
You're huge. It hurts. It hurts. I can't fix my girl. And when we reached out for help, they didn't help. When I saw my child seizing and fitting and tongue numb and lockjaw and all sorts of things happening to her. We mentioned the vaccine and they went quiet. They looked at the ground. They couldn't look me in the eyes. And I went, something's not right about this. What are you hiding? That's when I went, enough is enough. That's why I created the petition to get these people recognition, treatment and compensation for vaccine injury. The petition was going to be hosted on the official Parliament website. They continuously rejected the wording of our petition for weeks. With only 5 days before the memorial service, we opted for another petition site. We got an incredible 12,502 signatures in 5 days. The petition really brought us together despite the intrusive police presence. Nerves were soothed through my dear friend Ali Cook's musical contribution.
So I wrote this song, it's called Little White Crosses. I dedicate it to Rory Nairn, who is one who the coroner has said that he has passed because of the vaccine.
Little white crosses hanging in the smoky air. In the headline photographs, no one asked why they're hanging there. Each one had a name upon it, someone who had died from taking trusted medicine. Now a life they are denied. Little white crosses hanging in the smoky air. Little white crosses.
Then we began our journey to Parliament to deliver the 12,000 strong petition. We were shadowed and followed all the way by the police. And as we walked, the bad news came. Although the grounds were open for people to walk through, we found ourselves barricaded and blocked from taking the petition about vaccines into Parliament grounds. This was absolutely devastating. We sat on the steps. It was heartbreaking being ignored once again. I mean, people have travelled from all over the country for this moment. Then through the barricade came Chris Pink, my local Member of Parliament. He stood on the steps and spoke to the people.
My local constituent asked me to receive the petition
on your behalf, because today is about you and the petition you have signed, I will ask Anna if she would care to present that petition to me today. Should I come to you?
Barry Soper showed up. That was special because he is New Zealand's most experienced and balanced member of the government-accredited press.
And all they wanted with this petition that they presented to National's Chris Pink was acknowledgement that people did suffer ill effects from the vaccine.
So Pink came down, but nobody from the government?
Nobody, no.
Unlike Barry Soper's balanced report, TV1 had a 30-minute interview with Casey and I, yet nothing was aired on One News ever. Commercial primetime channel News Hub gave Memorial Day 8 seconds of coverage.
Meanwhile, another petition has been handed to Parliament calling for more support and help for people who claim to be injured by COVID-19 vaccines.
The media platform Stuff were first to report on the Memorial Day. We were hoping to have Casey's story finally told. Instead, they again stated that the Give a Little page created for her was a scam. The media are supposed to keep New Zealanders informed. Why are they ignoring vaccine damage? Interestingly, less than a week later, there was a public health exodus. 5 senior health officials resigned within 3 days. The first was Director General of Health, Dr. Ashley Bloomfield, immediately followed by the Director of Public Health, Dr. Caroline McElnay, then the Deputy Director of Public Health and 2 District Health Board Chief Executives.
The truth needs to come out, and in order for the truth to come out, you can't be silenced. We've been silenced this whole time.
This whole thing is a big political mental game. I don't know how else to put it.
They're going to have to listen. They can't keep hiding this. We're not stopping. I'm not going to shut up. If it's safe, why have more than 64,000 adverse events following immunisation been reported in New Zealand alone?
There's some people out there that are really hurting.
I feel like there's purpose in this. As tragic and terrible as it is, Rory hasn't died in vain. And that's why we want to tell people what's happened, that's why we want to share.
So find your strength with others and don't be shut down and isolated. Find people that will support you and hear your story, because you are one of many.
You say be kind. Where is that kindness? We trust you and you use that. It really hurts. We're just people dealing with so many horrible things, and you're putting on so much more hurt onto us and maybe you just don't understand, and that's ignorance. But it's time to try to understand at least, and be compassionate and be kind.